Hi, good morning. It's been exciting to be back on campus. As the student mentioned right before, I am a proud Sewickley Academy alum. I want to share some pictures from my time here on campus. I haven't been back for a while, but being back is really bringing back a ton of memories. I remember playing the clarinet pretty badly on the stage during many holiday concerts. I remember eating lunch on the picnic tables right outside the senior school. I don't know if they're still there. And I remember walking into town during 3 periods my senior year to try these new drinks called Frappuccinos from this new place called Starbucks. So I'm clearly dating myself, but I wanted to share that being back on campus is an honor, so thank you so much for having me, underling team. But also that I still keep in touch with so many of the friends that I made here today. 21 years later, I'm a mom to 2 little boys in the audience that are about to fall asleep. I am an avid home chef. One of my favorite things is to make pasta. I love traveling to new places and experiencing new things with my family. I'm also an entrepreneur. So over the last 20 years, I've paved an unconventional path, moving from finance to the wine industry, e-commerce, and apparel. I've had the fortune of starting 2 different businesses, the last of which was Lark Adventurewear. We make eco-friendly activewear for families. And after building that business for 6 years, I had the opportunity to sell it last December. So I am willfully unemployed, but thinking about what's next. So now that I've told you a little bit more about me, I'd love to actually put the focus on you. I believe that people are most fulfilled and at their best when they are the best versions of themselves, when they feel pride in what they do and what they've accomplished. Now, for many of us, getting to a successful life means that you have to achieve some goals along the way. And I've devised a framework that's worked for me, for goals big and small, that I'd love to share with you today. So bear with me for a moment. I'd love for everybody to close their eyes and think of a goal. And if you achieve this goal, you would feel really fulfilled, successful, and happy. It could be that you want to start a club or join the soccer team. It could be something like you want to become a YouTube sensation and have X amount of followers on social media. I had that goal when I started Lark Adventurewear. It could be that you want to be a lawyer or an actress or start the next ChatGPT. Just close your eyes for a moment. I'm going to give you a couple seconds and think of a goal that would make you feel really successful. All right, so hopefully you have that goal. I'd love to share this framework or game plan that's worked for me in goals big and small, and whatever your vision of success in the future, I hope that you use this and gain some tips and tricks to help you along the way. So number 1, believe in yourself. It's pretty ironic how I've heard the same threads throughout all of the speeches today, and although this is cliche, teachers and friends and parents can say that they believe in you 100 times, but it's when you believe in yourself, that's when the mindset changes and you can move mountains. Research actually shows that positive thoughts create positive outcomes. So if you say like, I stink at soccer, I'm never gonna make the team, you're right, you're never gonna make the team. I tell my kids every day that if they wake up and say they're gonna have a great day, they have a higher likelihood of having a good day. Research also shows that writing down your goals leads to a higher likelihood of success. So if you haven't done this already, go home, grab a notebook, and write down the goal that you thought of today. Next up, focus on your strengths. Up until my senior year of high school, I was dead set on being a doctor. It's not hard to understand why, because this is my family trait. Literally everybody is in healthcare, and they're pretty good at it. The summer before my senior year, I had the opportunity to go to a summer program that was focused on economics. I took college classes, I met people that I had never interacted with before, and it blew my mind. It also left me a little bit confused. So I made a list. I made a list of things I really enjoyed, things that lied within my natural strengths, and things that I wasn't so good at. It looked a little bit like this. Spreadsheets. Ironically, I love them. Sign me up. If I had an idea, I knew how to create an action plan and get people on board, that is totally within my wheelhouse. Things I wasn't so good at, biology, chemistry, writing academic papers. So after making this list, it actually helped me make the decision to apply to undergraduate business school and pursue that career path. Understanding your strengths really allows you to understand where your passions lie, as many of the speakers said before. It helps you understand where you need to build out the foundations to succeed in the area where you want to be a success. It also helps you understand where you might need to bring people in along the way that have totally different skill sets than you have. So now that you believe in yourself and you understand what you're good at, it's time to take action and create a plan. When I started Lark Adventurewear, I knew literally nothing about making apparel or manufacturing clothing. See, I had just had a small little baby, one of those little guys that are sitting out there, and I was changing diapers and filling bottles and spending time with this squishy little cute thing. But I also had an idea. I wanted to make apparel that was better for families and kept children more comfortable. And I was really passionate about that too. So I made a plan that looked a little bit like this. I laid out the steps that I would need to achieve to make my goal a reality. And sometimes when you're talking about really big goals, like starting a business or becoming a lawyer, it helps to create mini goals so that you see little progress towards success that builds you up to that greater goal or achieving that greater goal. For me, it might have been in 1 month that I was really busy, I just want to talk to 8 people within the manufacturing industry this month. And every Friday I would check in to see how I was getting closer to that goal. By the end of the month, I could check that box and move on to the next one. 18 months later, I had a product to take to market. This is the way that I built both of my companies. I laid out a plan, I created an action plan, and I followed through. I held myself accountable. The next one is to walk before you run, and this is going to be, it'll need some kind of an explanation, but I think all too often nowadays, we just see the really glamorous parts of success, right? You see the finished video, the sped up recipe on TikTok, which I really enjoy watching, the millions of likes and clicks. And while for some success is overnight and comes really quickly, a majority of the people that I know worked really, really hard to get to where they are today. I think we've heard the same thing from many of our speakers. So I encourage you to walk before you run. Build the foundations in whatever you'd like to pursue in order to be successful. For me, that meant out of undergrad that I worked at hedge funds for 5 years, running the numbers and building models on hundreds of businesses. It gave me the confidence to start my own business, but it also gave me credibility with people that I met along the way. Now for the soccer star, that might mean that you have to go to extra clinics to work on your corner kick. For the YouTube sensation, that means digging into that YouTube algorithm to understand SEO, tagging, and maybe video editing. But whatever you do, I just encourage you to go full board, to fulfill your passion, to never give up on that thirst for knowledge as it pertains to the area where you want to be successful. And there's going to be some not fun times along the way. Don't let that deter you from your ultimate success. Bring out others along with you. This is a fun one, more fun than the last one. So I've been in a lot of competitive rooms with a lot of competitive people, but the one thing I've learned over 20 years is that there's room for everyone. So bring people in, make them feel excited about your project, make them feel valuable to whatever you're working on, be generous with your compliments, and treat people how you want to be treated. That's what I tell my kids all the time. I built a small team at Lark of individuals that had way more experience in the apparel industry than I did. Even though I was the founder, I needed their expertise to help us navigate growth. It was a lot more fun to have a team of people that were just as passionate about our mission, and I made some lifelong friends along the way. The next one is to embrace failure and stay flexible, and again, I think we've heard this from a lot of the speakers today. I hope that each and every one of you succeed at your goal that you laid out at the beginning. I'm rooting for you, but there's a lesson in failure as well. Failure allows us to be introspective, to understand areas of improvement for this goal or something that we move on to in the future. I started a business in grad school. It was a wine business, and we would send you wines from around the world that were matched to your palate every month. For 18 months, I followed the plan that I just laid out for you. I was confident in myself. I understood my strengths. I did the legwork, I created a plan, and I took action. I even laid the foundation. I worked in restaurants, I learned about the wine industry, I had 2 sommelier certifications, and I brought in friends that had skill sets that I didn't have. We were accepted to this accelerator, and I was able to pitch my business to some of the best venture capital firms in the world, 20 of them. They all said no. See, there were 2 bigger competitors that had raised more money and had more customers than we had. So after 18 months of hard work, I had to make the tough decision to close the business, shut down the site, and tell our customers that we were no longer going to be sending them wine. The week that I shut down the site, I got an email from our biggest competitor. They invited me into their offices, and we lamented about the shared issues with our business model, but they had more capital and a really good idea. They were going to start producing their own wines and creating their own brands. And they hired me on the spot to lead that charge. My biggest failure became my biggest opportunity. And I've always looked at failure that way. The opportunity to stay flexible and see what else is out there. So I really urge you to, number 1, reach out. I'd love to be a resource for you on your journey, or if I can help in any way. I wish you luck at achieving the goal, and I hope that I gave you some tips and tricks to help you along the way. I encourage each and every one of you to be introspective and dig deep to understand who you are and what creates that spark inside. The more you know about yourself, the more successful you'll be in creating your authentic life. Thank you so much for having me here. Make your dreams come true and go get them.